feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. A friend of mine sent me this, and I felt it was worth doing a video on, at the very least, so that people could look into it further. Because things like this shouldn't just be popping up, hiding in the middle of nowhere. But we've seen stuff like this before. Remember the videos that went viral, or at least on YouTube went viral, of the millions and millions of those plastic caskets that showed up in the middle of nowhere, stacked on the side of some deserted highway, right? They use a lot of this open, empty areas in the country to hide a lot of these things that they plan on using on us one day. Now, I'm not speculating. I'm not saying they're going to throw us in there. Be ready for it. I'm showing it to you so that you could use your own, instincts to either look into it, dismiss it, or think that there's something further, because this is not normal, especially if you know this area, Carruthers in California, which is known for grape farming. Get a load of what these people stumbled upon passing two grape farms. This is just a short clip, but there were more of these. These are human cages. And how do you know they're human? Well, look for yourself. You can see toilets inside of here. These aren't containers to move grapes around off of this grape farm. Okay? Because the grapes would fall right through the holes probably. There's toilets in it. So these aren't cages for animals either. There's human toilets in it. Take a look for yourself. Look down here in the bottom. It does. Yes, sir, it does. Toilets in it. Those are for people. Yeah, those are for people. They've got toilets. How many are there, bro? I don't know. Now, you think that's normal? I'll show you one more time. You need another look at it. Look down here in the bottom. It does. Yes, sir, it does. Toilets in it. Those are for people. Yeah, those are for people. They've got toilets. How many are there, bro? I don't know. Now, again, I'm not trying to speculate. I'm not trying to say, hey, you're getting thrown in here. Be ready. Create fear, create panic. But look at the amount of these. This is just a front row of it. This line runs deep. And you can see that there's multiple cells here. Now, these aren't cells that are going to be inserted into a prison somewhere. They clearly serve a purpose. Now, we know that they have the FEMA camps. We know the things that they're doing, the quarantining. And the reason that I'm covering this is because one of the things I've been talking about since everything with the outbreak has gone on, and I said it was something that was important for people to keep an eye on. Obviously, for years I've been speaking on how we've turned our homes into prisons, correct? Now, when the vax comes, the people who refuse to get it are going to continue to be in prison. Now, if they decide that they're not going to listen, they're not going to live like that, they're still going to go out and do what they want to do, suddenly they have a lot of these places set up for us, for people who avoid the rules and restrictions that are going to be put in place. Remember how I covered all of these prisons? Prisons were being opened up. They were taking prisoners out that they didn't deem dangerous, people who might have been charged with B&E, which I would think might be a dangerous crime, or other types of offenses. And they were letting them free years before they were even up for parole. Now they claim, well, if it was somebody who committed a serious offense like killing somebody, well, then they stay in there. And we know what happens to these predators that get let loose. Now, that's one of the other things to keep in mind is that all this stuff goes on with trafficking. And I know one of the first things people are going to think of, well, they use these cages, these cells for children. Of course, that's a possibility that jumps into everyone's head immediately. And then there might be other people who say, hey, look, they just build these things because I don't know why would they build them, and why would they be in the middle of a grape field somewhere? You want to tell me that somebody bought this, that it's some type of artifact or an antique from history, and they wanted to have it and stack it in the middle of nowhere in their field and spend the money on it and have toilets in it? I mean, hey, crazier things. People probably bought crazier, more disturbing things than that. I mean, all you have to do is look at the Podesta artwork, and then you can put one and one together. But this is not normal. These aren't things that are normal. When you see it, you don't have to jump to conclusions. You don't have to run and go, they're going to throw us in. Because that's really the narrative that I've read online. Now, we know that people who refuse the mark, people who refuse the vax, that there's going to be consequences for those people. We know that Christians are going to be enslaved in the end time period. And by that, I mean caged and locked up. They will be. I know people hearing this are rolling their eyes laughing, saying he's out of his mind. But the same people who were saying that 5 years ago aren't laughing anymore, because most of us have been talking about all this stuff with the vax for years and years and years. I've been talking about all these flu shot videos I've done from them at the Golden Globes, pushing it, obviously subliminally programming people. We've all been talking about the currency and the end of the dollar. People are like, they're never getting rid of the dollar. Right, then we saw cryptocurrency blow up. Now we're seeing the fact that they're not even giving people change anymore, that they're making coins pretty much obsolete next to be cash. So everything's electronic and everyone's microchipped. These are all things people said we were crazy that we discussed it, and they're all coming to fruition. And if you don't believe it, go back through my videos. This isn't about me going, I told you so. This is about me trying to help open your eyes, because the signs and all this stuff are right in front of your face. It's just a matter if you're watching it on a conscious level. If you start looking for patterns and repetition, you will see that the narrative is right in front of you. They're constantly putting this in shows, in movies, shows, music videos. They're always showing you this stuff of what is to come. And that's how they make people desensitized to what they're doing, because they've already prepared you for it and showed you it. So, from what I've read about the location of this place, it's a tiny farming town known as Carruthers in California. The cages are located on multiple raisin picking facilities off of Saginaw. There's another set at a different raisin packing facility. So sorry, I might have said grapes earlier. It's raisins. So I mean, they're not putting the raisins in there. They'd all fall through the holes in the cage. And there's really no reason for this to be there. There's no reason. And you can't look at this from any other standpoint and say it's not cages for human beings. Because there wouldn't be toilets in it if it was for animals to transport, deer or cattle or anything else. Right? It's for humans. Then you can speculate from there as to why or what will be done with these things. But it's worth noting, why does this exist? Why is this on someone's property? If this government wasn't corrupt, if this world wasn't corrupt, wouldn't this be something you would like the police to look into for safety purposes, just to ease your mind? Just like we all wanted people to look into the reason that there was all those caskets on the side of the road that nobody did anything about, or all the empty jail cells now that are popping up. Why would you let prisoners out? Why would you care if a prisoner gets the flu? They commit these crimes, they go to jail, and it's like, oh, but they might get the flu. Achoo. Oh, well, we should let them free, let them walk, because that's what citizens want. People who commit crimes not even have to pay for their crimes and to walk free. Oh, but we have to protect them because it's so dangerous. No, they're emptying and freeing prison cells for a reason. The home is the new prison. The fact that they have these other things popping up in these empty prison cells, it's just proof that this is here and going to be used for people who refuse to go along with the plan. And this is going to be used as a scare tactic. This is going to be used, and look, this is how they're getting other people to be on board. You might say, well, wait a minute. Other people out there who decide to get the shot, they're not going to want you to be caged or imprisoned. Yes, they are. Because look how people are acting now. If you're somebody who goes out without a mask, you're a criminal. People look at you and they want to hit you. They look at you like you're affecting them and possibly could be making them sick, even if you're healthy. Because you could be carrying it and be healthy. Huh? Well, they heard it on the news, so it must be true, even though it makes absolutely no sense. But that's science, folks. We shouldn't question it, because they tell us and they put the word science around it, and we're supposed to go, okay, I could have it even though I'm perfectly 100% healthy and have a 97.8 degree temperature. But I could have it, and I could give it to some old lady. So I better, put myself in a bodysuit, gloves, and a mask, and now wear goggles too, so I don't contaminate someone. This is the world we're living in. People will demand that things like this are done. And again, I don't want people to jump to conclusions. I just want you to investigate these things on your own. But see that these are the things going on around you. Driving in the middle of Timbuktu nowhere in California, where there's plenty of empty space and empty areas, where it's been known that lots of weird things happen out in the valleys out there in the hills. The hills have eyes, so to speak. And here there's just a bunch of cages that would be built for human beings. So what do you want to tell me? He won them at an auction because he's just a big fan of cells, right? He's like, oh, okay. And then a couple farms down, another guy has it, or next door farm, different person, different owner, happens to have them. Nothing suspicious there. Nothing to see here, folks. Unbelievable. Keep an eye on this story. I'll be talking about it on my website.
Good
Check out my
gosh.
website, callfornuprising.com. Please consider becoming a subscriber. Lots of good stuff over there, no censorship. And of course, you can interact with other people. You can fellowship. A lot of people have made friends over there, and they feel better about the fact that they have people they can talk to who are like-minded, because we all go through life dealing with friends and family members who refuse to see this stuff, and it's frustrating. So it's nice to have people you can talk to who believe and understand the same things as you do, and as well educate other people on stuff you might be more knowledgeable in, or share things going on in your town and ask questions, everything. And fellowship, of course, with one another. So check it out. I want to remind you there's a Teespring store here if you haven't checked it out, because obviously it helps out the channel a lot, helps get the word out about this channel, because obviously they've pretty much put the clamps on a lot of our channels from anyone finding it anymore. None of us are growing at the pace we once were. That's just a matter of what they've done with the algorithm. And I want to thank again the Patrons. You guys are the ones who keep this channel going. So if you like my content right here on YouTube, please consider becoming a Patron. I appreciate the support. This is obviously pretty disturbing stuff. Any updates I have will likely be over on the website. Unless it's something really, really important, I'll put it up over here on YouTube. But keep an eye on it. Write in the comment section below anything you might have heard about it. Let me know what you think. I thank you guys so much. God bless all of you and your families.